Hey everybody, what we have in this box here is the replacement for this guitar. I have to ship this one back to the music store that it was purchased from due to some quality control issues. You can check out those videos on this channel. If this box is anything like the box this came in, the guitar is in the shipping box that comes from Charvel, and that box is in this box. There'll be a couple pieces of the paper packing. I have the other box sitting right there because I have to ship it back. So let's dig into this and see if this one is a better quality representation of the brand or if it's going to fall into this category. So the street price on this is $1,300. I've been fortunate enough to have two of these, one screwed up and then the one right here, very briefly into the introductory period, whereas some folks are saying they can't get theirs until April or June, depending on where you go. My sweet one says June. So here we go. There's the paper. The paper is different than the other paper. Not that that matters. And yep, as predicted, here's our box. Throw this out of the way, just like we did the other one. And yep, as you can see, this is still sealed. So the distributor did not open this box at all. So what that means is we cannot blame the store for letting this get out with bad quality control. I mean, arguably you could say they should open it, inspect it, but you got some guy in a shipping department receiving stuff. Does he know about quality on a guitar? Maybe not. You know, maybe he does. I don't know. Or maybe she does. I don't know the answer to that question, but it's a mail order thing because unfortunately now everything's in the day and age of mail order. Brick and mortar stores have been encumbered by mail order stores buying in bulk. Okay, so just like the other one, piece of packing there. Just like the other one, piece of cardboard with an Allen wrench attached to it. Just like the other one, I jokingly called this the gig bag. Let's get that out of the way here. So for $1,300, you don't even get a gig bag with this guitar, which I don't know what they're thinking about the pricing on these. So we'll see how bad this is. And I'm going to check everything on this with an even finer tooth comb than I checked the other one. Okay, so our first thing that we got here is our hang tag is a little bit different. On the previous one, the prep was done by Meftal, assembly by Yose, wiring by Denise, but the D looks like a P, so it's P nice. And setup was Ernest Oscar. So this one is Taru or Tanu for the prep. Assembly doesn't have anybody. And wiring is by Poncho. Setup is Ernest and Oscar. And this time, Oscar has a smiley face by his name. Okay, so immediately, the first thing I noticed, dead on, I don't know if the nut's cut right, but there's no sharp edge on it. There is a lip on either side. But what I'll do a little bit further in the video, I'm going to lay both these guitars on the floor side by side. I'll move the cell phone camera and take a look at it. No crack in the finish on the string tree, but the goddamn thing's improperly installed. Again. Yeah, because the ridges point towards you. And on this one here, I don't know if you'll hear this, it's partially catching. So they're putting these on, and as the slots should go in line with the strings, they should run parallel with the strings. The string would sit in those grooves. They're turning it a quarter turn. I don't know what in the hell they're thinking. Okay, the bridge on this one, it does not follow the radius of the fretboard or this one. It's a little better, but this D string is at least a millimeter higher than the G. And on this one here, if you listen, I can catch my finger on the saddle. If you look at the other video, it's because the saddle's canted down. The saddle's canted down on the G string this way, and on the B string towards the G string, and on the high E towards the B string. Obviously, it needs a setup. Okay, that was just hair. I thought, oh my God, if there's a dent in the front of this, I'm going to lose my mind. But so far, so good. The fretwork appears good. The nut, you can still see where they filed it. And that high E is, I don't know if they're afraid to slot that. This high E sits about 1 millimeter higher than the B and the G. Mostly in tune. I'm actually not upset about that at all. So that shows you, okay, so they tuned it at the factory. Pretty decent there. Okay, what do we have here on the headstock? There's some sort of glue residue. Will that come off with a thumbnail, or is that in the finish? Yeah, that's in the finish. The neck on this one's not as pretty with the flame. It doesn't have a big flame like the other one does. But you know, you're not buying a neck that has an advertised flame maple. Okay, so this is MC214531. What was this? MC214523. So these guitars are 531, 523. They're 8 apart. So in the assembly line, I guess if they're going sequentially, these are 8 apart in serial number. Let's look at the neck here. Needs just a touch. We're talking an 1/8 of a turn tightening. The frets appear good. So far, so wait. Okay. Whew. Oh boy. I was getting ready to throw this thing. We're going to check the neck pocket for any finish damage. Appears good. So the 2 complaints, 3. We have 3 so far. Let's look the rest of this thing over before I go spouting off. All right, complaint number 1, and I'll show this on the camera when I get up and I adjust. We have some sort of residue. It does not affect playability. It's just on there, and I think that would clean up. Some light sandpaper might take that off, and you might be able to keep the same sheen of the neck. It's a satin type finish there. So that's complaint 1. Complaint 2 is the string tree is not correct. Complaint 3 is this high E is not slotted properly. I don't know if, who did the setup on this? I don't know if Ernest Oscar smiley face is afraid to cut the nut. If that's even who does it. It might be Tanu, it might be blank on assembly. You don't know. But there you have it. You watched me open this from the box, and I understand it's not in perfect tune, but that's pretty good coming from the Charvel factory to the dealer, from the dealer to me, without being intercepted by anybody. You saw the box get open right here. All right, so let's lay these down side by side. I'm going to pick up the camera and we'll look them over side by side together. And we'll use our gig bag to protect the body on these. So let me lay the left one here. Well, on the camera, I guess it'd be the right. The one to my left is the one that we just got to replace it. So let me grab the camera here. I have to note to myself to make sure to hold the camera the same direction. Okay, so right here is the one that we received that had the QC issues. If you remember during the video, the D string screw came out. The guy at the music store, they said, go ahead and throw that into a baggie so we can put that back on the guitar. I kind of figured it would get damaged, and I didn't want one of you guys to end up buying this thing and get a dinged up guitar. So I told him, I said, I'll just screw it back in. I won't do an adjustment, but I'll put it there and I'll put a note in the box. So, but the saddle here, this is what I was talking about before. If you look, you can see it's canted down. That's not just higher, it's canted. Intonation's not even close on this, and out of the box, the tuning was pretty bad. Which I understand, that doesn't matter, you know, tuning a guitar. But there we have it. There's the nut on this. And if you look, it's very square, very choppy. Giant canyon underneath the nut there. And I'll try and get this to show up if my phone will focus. Let's see if I can do a zoom in on that, where you can see that line coming down. That's from the finish. And maybe at this angle would be a little better. We have the finish crack from that. And then you can see how the string tree is not properly installed. That's a real good example of that. And I'll come over to the new one and show that as well. As you can see on this one, it's even more of an angle to it. They tried to catch a string in it, but let's go to the nut because we want to compare these side by side. So I'm going to move the headstocks of these a little closer. So, bad nut. Not perfect, but a lot better. You can see what I mean, that the high E string's too high, which that's not a big deal. You can fix that. You can see how high it is on this one. That's pretty bad. You see how that nut overhangs and there's a gap underneath it. And that gap continues, let's see here, on the other side. And you can see there's really no attention to anything on that. You can still see the dust from when they originally slotted it. And the fact that you can see what looks to be plastic just sitting there, that tells me that this plastic nut is not a real high quality one. You're probably going to want to replace that. If you have any tuning issues with the guitar, I'm willing to bet it's the nut on one of these. So this is our new one. You can see how that high E is way too high. Let's come down to these saddles. So you can see they look much better than the other one. But as we come around to the front, you can see they're canted. That's not a big deal. That's easy to fix. And let's come in on that thing on the headstock that I talked about. That there, that's over top of the finish, I believe, and that'll come out. No big deal. And this is what I was saying about the hang tag being difficult to make out who. And this one has Oscar smiley face, so maybe he knew I was getting the other one and he just wanted to play a trick on me. I say that jokingly. Here's the old one, in case you think I was joking about Denise's name looking like penis. Come on, focus. There we are. I can't make out the first name, but we have P. Nice, Jose, Ernest, Oscar. And then over here, we have Ernest Oscar with the smiley, so he's happy about this one. Compare the headstocks, identical. And the finish, being that they're so close in serial number, I'm assuming they're from the same batch. So I would say that the replacement one, I'm probably going to keep. What I intend to do with the replacement one is I'll do some adjustments to it. I want to do a setup to my liking, and then I will record a video side by side with the USA. I did it already with this one, but it wasn't fair because the music store said return it in the condition you got it. I can't, in fairness, set it up then send it back, so it's not a fair review. So the next video will have this one reviewed. So far, I'm happy with what I see. I'm a little unhappy with the 3 things I pointed out, but right here, just the difference between that being rounded and that there being sharp, that's huge. I mean, it's only a couple minutes worth of work to go from an average nut to a good one. So, I don't know. Your mileage may vary. This guy right here, he's getting shipped back to the music store. That'll go out UPS. Hopefully they get that soon. And one final thought. The rosewood on this one's a little bit lighter than on the replacement. And that doesn't matter. That's wood variation between the different pieces. But I kind of liked this bright streak in here. And I imagine with some oil, on this, and playing dirt over time, this will darken up nice, and then you'll still have that real nice streak and then that real dark streak there beside it. Hopefully they get this one sorted out and someone gets a nice guitar. And I'll see you in the video about this guy here, where I'll compare it to the USA. All right, take care and be well.